this video, we're going to be demonstrating how to use GRIB files in MacENC. We'll learn how to format your MacENC to download the GRIB file that you want, how to download it, and how to then open it and display it on your chart screen. So first, let's get MacENC up and running. And the first thing we need to do is make sure that in MacENC preferences we have an email address put in for GRIB request. Since we already have that now, the next thing to do is to format the kind of GRIB request that we want. So by that I mean we're going to have to decide how many days do we want. 3, 5, or 7 are the options. What interval do we want the predictions for, the forecast for? Every 3 hours, 6 hours, and so on. And the resolution, this is essentially just how close together do you want the wind barbs to show on your chart. The smaller the area that you select, the higher the resolution. So a higher resolution would be the 0.5 degrees there. That's what I'm going to choose. Those are my preferences. Next, you have to also have chosen an area of in a chart that you want to cover, because this will be part of the way that MacENC tells what you want. So I have the Gulf of Mexico and this whole area you can see here as the area that I want covered by my GRIB request. Just for simplicity purposes, I'm only going to select surface wind. You can see that there are other options here, but this is the one I'm going to select for this purpose. What MacENC does is it automatically creates a draft in your default email client of an email that will request the information that you've set up in your GRIB formatting. All I need to do at this point is send the email, and it goes. Then I have to wait for it to return. This usually doesn't take more than a minute. That would certainly depend on your internet connection and other things like that. I'm going to see if I can force the issue here and it's already there, and that's probably less than 15 seconds. So here's my request. I'm going to open that up, and there's an attachment right here, and it tells is encoded here in the name all the information that that I asked it for, but I don't need to know what that is. I'm just going to save this attachment in a location where I save my GRIB files, and then I'm going to come back over to MacENC and I'm going to open that up. So when I open the GRIB file, I just need to select the same one I just created. That's going to be in that order. The most recent one is at the top in my case. I'll open it up, and here I have a display of wind barbs for the general area that I selected earlier on. You can see the normal wind barbs with their flags indicating the direction that they're going. Down here there's a tropical storm, potential hurricane looks like, and over here we can see in this area, this is actually Hurricane Irma that's coming across the islands here in the Caribbean. As we, if you want, you can select from this list any particular date and time that you've requested to look at that particular forecast. You can use these double little arrows here to select the next forecast, and it'll just go through the list. Or you can select play, and it will automatically move from one forecast to the next. We can see Hurricane Irma coming up towards Florida right now. You can also use the Beaufort Scale. The Beaufort Scale indicators are color-coded with the Beaufort force here as indicated in this color coding scale. If we go over here to where Hurricane Irma is, you can see that we're already up to a force 12. You can change the size of the indicators to suit your needs. This size slider works whether you're using Beaufort Scale or barbs. If you choose to, you can scroll in to a tighter area and still see the wind barbs depending on how close to the resolution you got in the first place. If you select this item here, it can also display the pressure lines based on the same GRIB file that you're using. To remove the display of the GRIB file from your chart, you simply click on this red dot to close the weather window and the display ends. If you're using GPS NavX instead of MacENC, the ability to display GRIBs is pretty much the same. You request them in the same way. You have a few limitations here with requesting GRIBs in this menu, but you open GRIBs in exactly the same way, and they should display also in the same way. You can use barbs, Beaufort Scale, show pressure lines, change the size, move forward, play, and you can scroll through in this way by selecting a particular prediction. If you found this helpful, give me a like and subscribe to Jim's Sales.